to another episode of the Labor Lounge. We appreciate you. Labor Lounge, that's right, we can work it out. All that issue can't talk at work, we can talk about. Labor Lounge, I ain't gonna argue with ya. I'ma hit you with these facts so that you can get the picture. Hey, big man got the plan, professor got the execution. KBC is clutch, holding up the Constitution. Together we combine to bring quality content, good conversation. You don't even know where the time went. So call the pastor, call the deacon, call the good girls or call the heathens. It don't even matter, call them if they breathing. Ain't no excuse for you to be sleeping. Tell them to tune in when it reaches the weekend. Saturday nights at 11 Eastern to... Where you going? Oh, I'm gonna be over here listening to the Labor Lounge. Them boys, they gon' work it out. All that issue can't talk at work, we can talk about. Labor Lounge. I ain't gonna argue with you. I'ma hit you with these facts so that you can get the picture. Hey.
It feel good, don't it?
Yes.
It feel good, don't it? And we are back with another episode of the Labor Lounge with Three and the Professor.
Baby.
How you doing? How are you doing this evening, young man?
Oh, you talking to me? Well,
yeah.
I'm feeling marvelous. It's going to be a new year, man. New year. I'm not going to do the new me and all that stuff, but it's new year, same old me, the one that you love, the Professor. And we here, baby. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. So check this out, man. Let me do a little bit of what they call on these YouTube streets housekeeping real quick. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to the Labor Lounge podcast. Over this past week, there has been many of you who have joined our channel. We are currently at 469 subscribers. I cannot tell you the excitement. I cannot tell you the excitement I have been feeling all week long as I have been hitting the refresh on the YouTube studio. So everybody, welcome to the channel. This channel was made for you, and y'all motivate us to keep cooking and doing what we're doing. Now, on top of y'all pushing the subscribe button and showing that type of love, y'all been in the comments too. I just want to say keep engagement.
I love it.
I look at a lot of it I miss, so I go back and I see stuff in the aftermath. But hey, it's been great conversations happening in the comments. And the one thing I can respect is everybody's viewpoint and everybody's opinions. I understand we all different. We all come from different walks of life. I respect how people feel out there. And I gotta say, out of all the comments that I've seen, there has been nothing crazy or real disrespectful. So shout out to y'all, man. I'm sure that my 469 is better than anybody's Millie any day of the week. So with that being said, we're going to get into the show tonight. Y'all saw the thumbnail. Excuse me. Y'all saw the thumbnail. So it ain't hard dealing. It ain't easy dealing with the public. So I got a couple videos we going to look at, we going to get into, and we going to rock through, and we going to do what we do, which is basically talk about some of the foolishness and try to see what our thought process is versus you guys' thought process when you get down into the comments. But before we even get into that, I gotta go back to last week real quick.
You take a sip of my drink to that.
We're not gonna spend too much time on it, man, but I think we all got to see the Professor he unraveled just a little bit, right? But he reeled it back in. He reeled it back in. He unraveled just a little bit, but he reeled it back in. But you know what? It's all for great conversation. Professor, tell us what happened, man. What was your thoughts when it all went down last week?
Labor Lounge. I just want to let you know that we appreciate you. People are human, and you know what? I'm human. I got God.
I try to go ahead and keep a particular composure. I try to keep a decorum about myself. But unfortunately, when you got ninjas on the show, sometimes things just get a little ninjery. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, there was powerful ninjery at work. And I got, so it's like, man, look, the person that I'm here is who I am truly. I give you guys everything, man. Whatever it is, you get it. And there's another part of me in a different life that I'm pretty sure Big Man and I have referenced before once or twice. And every time I reference it, I'm never proud about it, but it's something that exists. So I just say, if somebody gives me that type of energy, I'm built for this. I'm just trying to be over here. I'm trying to be over here. But if you got that energy, sometimes you get caught off guard and then you remember, oh, shoot, man, you know what? It's a different life. It's a different day. And I'm pretty sure a lot of our Labor Lounge, viewers, they probably go through the same thing as well. One thing I will tell you is I will never be the person to uplift that type of behavior. One thing I know is that even though that behavior happened, it should be different. So with that being said, let's take what's going on, Ray?
Not much. For those of you who have been longtime subscribers, you see I have changed my tag to 3. And that's because a brave soul came up to me. I try to keep my podcast world out of my real work world, but it intertwines. I mean, everybody uses this platform, right? So somebody came to me and said, your show's pretty cool. They said, but I'm not calling you Big Man. So I said, okay. Okay, that's cool. We could try to fix that. So I did go ahead and I changed my moniker to something that's going to be a little bit easier to remember, because this is a name that people have known me by my whole life, right? Seeing as how I am the 3rd generation. So with that being said, I reintroduce myself to each and every one of you as 3. And that's that. So as we normally do, we're going to go ahead and we're going to kick this thing off, but we're going to start a little light. We're going to start light, and then we'll get into the mix of things. And as we continue to get into the mix of things, understand that I don't have the answer for why these things happen or how to prevent these things from happening, but we can have good, intelligent, and respectful conversations. So without further ado, we're going to get into the first video. Let me make sure I got my settings right, because I'll be messing up sometimes. Here we go.
911. Somebody call 911. Somebody call 911.
Now at 11, tourists terrorized. Shocking video you'll see only right here on 6 shows a couple visiting from Canada being robbed at gunpoint of their belongings and their vacation.
This heart-stopping holdup happening right in the middle of the day, as you see here. And the robbers, they are still out there on our streets tonight.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Trina Robinson.
I'm Roxanne Vargas. Jamie Garola in Fort Lauderdale with the exclusive video tonight.
It happened here just off of busy Las Olas Boulevard and San Marco Drive. A witness recorded the scary moments.
Somebody call the cops. Call 911.
This is cell phone video of a couple being robbed in the middle of the day in Fort Lauderdale earlier this month.
Somebody call 911. Somebody call 911.
In the video, 2 men are wrestling on the ground with the victim in the pink shirt. The man wearing a black sweater is hitting the victim with a Glock. The victim's wife yelling, pleading for them to stop, even trying to hit them to fend them off.
What's going on? They just robbed him. They robbed him? Yeah.
Then the suspects dragged the victim by the arm, stealing his 1950s gold Rolex valued at $45,000. The robbers run off, jumping into a car waiting for them at a stop sign. According to a Fort Lauderdale police arrest form, the couple robbed was visiting from Canada. They were taking a leisurely walk around the boulevard, heading back to their hotel when they were randomly approached and held up at gunpoint.
Somebody call 911.
If you think you recognize the vehicle in that video or even the suspects, go ahead and call Crime Stoppers at 954-493-TIPS.
Yo. Yo. You know what the wild thing about this is? How many times have you and I walked up and down that strip, bro?
Man, I can't even count. But the threat has always been there.
Yo, I'm gonna venture out to say that we could talk generically and say the threat has always been in everywhere, right? But specifically, I think these threats are because of what's going on with society, right? One thing that's universal is crime, or poverty begets crime. So you got a lot of people that aren't making it these days. The price of everything is up, and your pay is the same. Not to say that I justify this at all. We're never going to justify this, but I know why it's happening, because crime, it has a direct correlation with poverty. Period.
I believe that, but I think these type of things have always been happening. You know who your snowbirds are. That's what we call them in South Florida.
Of course.
You know who your snowbirds are, and typically, if you're a snowbird, you got a little weight in your pockets, right? So they come down here, and they're just enjoying the weather because they come from Canada. In this particular scenario, it's sunny South Florida. They come from Canada where it's snowing every day. They just walking around thinking life is all good, and then here comes somebody, and unfortunately for them, they got robbed out here on the beach. Now, we don't wish this on anybody. I think this is 100% wrong, but like I said, we've walked that strip so many times in that area, and the threat has always been there. The difference was we were young, strapping young men. We weren't the old fogies we are today, right? So these people were out there. Look, it was an older gentleman. He had on a $45,000 Rolex walking around.
Hold up, you're going to have to back up on that old fogey comment. You ain't just going to slide that off right there and just be like old fogies like we are today. Well, damn.
We all fogies, man. Listen, the world is evolving, man, and we trying to keep up with it. Listen, things don't change. Listen, you get me off track. Anyway, this man was walking on the beach and he had a $45,000 Rolex on. Now, let's be honest. If I'm walking out here on this beach, I'm not wearing a $45,000 watch Rolex. I'm not going to do it.
Okay, no disrespect, but a lot of times, right? And I'm going to put myself in these situations. I try not to be there. We make a lot of comments from a place where we don't even go ahead and live. I don't have a $45,000 Rolex. Do you?
Yeah.
You do have one?
No. I was agreeing. I think we lost a little bit of connection, but no, I don't have.
Okay. So, if we don't have a $45,000 Rolex to even wear, how do we go ahead and understand that lifestyle? You're going on vacation. You're an old fogey. You're coming down from Canada. This is a tourist attraction. People tell you about the good things that happen. It's in broad daylight. I'm going to be honest with you. Las Olas at night, I could see that always being a threat. But broad day, I never thought about that. Like I never thought about that where people are literally right there videotaping what's going on and you could care less as to what's happening. That was never something that was expected. Now looking at that, yes, when you go places, it's dark, people come out at night, all types of stuff. Never in the history of as long as I've known you have I ever heard anybody getting robbed in broad day in Las Olas. That's one of those places where police was actually all over the place, everywhere. It was because if we're correct, it's not too far from the courthouse, right? So everybody's had to go to the courthouse down there. And if I remember correctly, that's Southeast 6th Street. And over there on Las Olas is A1A. What's that, like a hop, skip, and a jump? So Yeah, you never really had to worry about things like that. The police were patrolling, especially considering it was a high value area with a lot of people with a lot of money. For that to happen in broad daylight is shocking to me.
Hit them when you don't expect it. I'm sure they probably expect, or I'm sure they didn't expect it to happen in broad daylight, which is why they were out there, and that's when it happened, right? But if you think about if you look at the world today, right, just off of some of the videos that we've done on this channel, they're smashing and grabbing in stores. They're walking in, beating the cases open and running out. So it doesn't surprise me that it happened in broad daylight. Like you started off your dialogue with, I know why it's happening, right?
Right.
Impoverished people don't care what time of day it is, so they're just gonna get it wherever they can get it. Now, the part about this that really upsets me, I'm gonna be honest with you, that Rolex is valued at $45,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
They won't get that for it.
No.
And that's the part that bothers me. So I had a watch I invested in. I had a Breitling. Now, if you know what a Breitling is, it wasn't the top of the line Breitling. I spent like $3,400 on it, right?
Okay.
Now you could look up a Breitling watch, Breitling Bentley, and you can see that those things can be kind of costly. I made the mistake. Accountability. I made the mistake. One night coming home from the club, I threw it in my my little change thing that was in the car. I put it in there because you start undressing when you get in the car from the club. So I threw it in the change thing, and the next day I go outside to the car, my watch is gone. And I know I left it there.
Jesus.
But it's gone. The anger I felt. and that's the one thing I remember is like, yo, they broke into my car. Not only did they take the watch, they took the change out the cup, and that's the only things that they took. I know they're not going to get the value for that watch. It's going to go for pennies on the dollar, and I'm out of $3,400. It's annoying. It's frustrating. Being robbed is probably the worst thing that can happen to somebody, especially like this person knows these people ran up on them and robbed them. Yo, when you get robbed and you don't know who did it, everybody becomes a suspect. You start looking at people walking up the sidewalk.
Yo, look, of all things, the thing that bothers you the most is that they're not going to get the maximum value.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, in the robbery, bro. Like, this is hilarious. All right, check it out. Look, if there's any consolation, I will say this depends upon who they sell it to, right? Because if it's an unsuspecting individual and all they know is the name Breitling and they see a Breitling, they don't know whether it's top of the line or they don't know whether it's bottom of the line. All they know is a Breitling and they got to have it. Hey, man, look at here. I got this Breitling, dog. Look, hey, man, I'm gonna make you a little deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give this to you right here for like a clean 15, 20. Then they made a profit off of it. I know that's not gonna make you happy. Either way, it's not gonna work, whether they get the actual value or whether they made a profit. So how could that be the
It bothers me, bro. It bothers me. I'm not gonna lie. It hurt. It hurt.
My man.
My watch is gone today. Now I'm gonna tell you something else about all this, right? Mm-hmm. The guy who was recording, is this the way we move today? Like, if I was getting robbed in broad daylight and somebody's recording, like, is that the way we move, or am I to expect him to come over here and kick one of these boys in the back of the head? Like, he's recording. Listen, he's recording.
Nope. Time out.
No, listen. Let me ask the question. He's recording and he's telling somebody else to call the police when he can call the police. Like, how much time did you waste by getting your phone out and getting the record on? I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I'm asking. It's a question. So go. Let me hear that.
You said, am I supposed to expect a stranger
help me
to come over and help kick these guys' butts?
Hey, listen.
Sir,
Could you
wait,
imagine?
no.
Could you imagine?
no.
Just hear me. Could you imagine you getting dragged up the street, somebody snatching off your Breitling, and you make eye contact with the person recording? Help me.
Let me tell you something. Nowadays, that is helping you.
Yeah, I guess.
And the unfortunate and fortunate thing, right? Because at the least they have evidence of this situation. If it was a situation where we're talking about, yo, these two dudes are just using their hands, it's one thing. But they said in the news report, the guy with the black shirt, and I saw it on the replay, was hitting him in the face with the Glock.
Yeah. Okay.
He had a Glock, like, yo, you want me to come? You want some of this, old man? Nope. I'm like, oh, bro, I am not doing this, okay? I'm sorry. You ain't going to hit me with the Glock, Dookie. Bro, like, yo, this is not go. What? Like, okay.
Fair
Let's
enough.
put it in another scenario, right? Let's say I had my own bang bang on me, right? Do you still expect me to get involved with two other dudes who potentially have two weapons and you have none?
It's fair. It's fair. I get it.
I'm just saying, America.
No,
I help how you can. At least the dude prompted somebody to stop watching. Like, hey, I'm on it. I'm recording so that if you gonna have all the evidence you need. Matter of fact, we got the car that they're in, and we got what they're looking like, enough to try to do something, right? Yeah. You guys call the police, try to get these guys here so they could go survey the area and look for a gray Honda Accord or Honda Civic, whatever it was. You know, that's the best thing. Yeah, that's the best
got
thing.
Information. Get Crime Stoppers, man, because that could have been my people getting dragged up the road. But man, I got to tell you, it sucks to use a $45,000 Rolex. Gone.
Oh, listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. In the grand scheme of the pictures, give it up. Give it up, bro. Give it up.
Safe bet.
Give it up. They just want that. Give them the Rolex. You walk away with your life, because clearly, if you have the ability to go ahead and buy a Rolex, I'm going to hope that you're of sound mind, that you're not using your bottom dollar to buy your Rolex, and you have enough to buy another Rolex. That's all I'm saying. And I'm going to say that he's from, he's an older generation dude. He might have insurance on his joint. Go leave the joint alone. But my man was holding on for dear life until they slapped him in the face with the clock, bro.
Because I have the ability to buy another Rolex, don't mean I want to. I'm just
you don't want to, but are you going to trade your life for the existing one?
Oh man, that's a tough decision. Anyway. All right. Okay. So check it. We're going to keep pushing forward, man. So we started off a little bit like I told you, right? So we going to get into some of the things we talk about tonight. And it's about working with the public is not easy, right? So we've done a story like this before where we had a young man in Cheddars who was just doing his job, and he ended up getting whooped by a family because whatever reason they decided they didn't like his face and they jumped on him, right?
That was the 17-year-old, right?
Yes, yeah. And you remember the mom ended up getting in contact with Cheddars, and she said that all they offered her was a plate of chicken tenders. Do you recall?
They offered her a free meal.
Free meal. All right. So,
but you know how 3 like to put some sauce on it. They only gave her 2 chicken tenders, and it wasn't even spicy.
It wasn't even bread. Wasn't even breaded right. So now we're gonna go to Chipotle. We gonna go to Chipotle, right? And we gonna find out what's going on at Chipotle when somebody decided to jump on another employee because they wanted some extra chicken. So we gonna jump into this, and we gonna come back and talk about it.
Now know the names of a couple wanted for a brutal beating inside a Lancaster County Chipotle restaurant. A viewer sent us this video of the December 10th brawl. Investigators say the people in the video hitting an employee numerous times are Jamel Williams and Kayla Pyle. Officers are now looking for the couple in that attack at the Chipotle on Charlotte Highway. Queen City News reporter Daniel Pierce went to the suspect's reported home tonight to get answers.
William and Pyle live 1.5 miles from this Chipotle where the assault happened. They weren't home when I went by there to try and get some sort of answers. Keep in mind, the video you're about to see all started because of a meal request. All you can clearly make out are the screams of customers begging the fight to stop. A viewer sent us this video of the December 10th brawl inside of a Chipotle. Deputies believe the man winding his fist up for a punch, well, that's Jamal Williams, 6'3", 300 pounds. The video shows a moment later, he appears to try and hit the Chipotle worker on the head. The woman next to him with the reddish hair holding down the employee is believed to be Kayla Pyle. In a newly obtained police report, deputies say just before this, the unnamed employee was serving Pyle. At one point, Pyle asked for extra chicken, but got upset when she learned it would cost extra. Before this video started, the employee had told her manager she was going to leave work because of the encounter, but Williams allegedly came inside and threw her to the ground when she got within 10 feet of the front door. That's when the video started. Several Chipotle workers appeared to try and step in to break it up. They eventually had to step away before they too got hurt. Reading the incident report, the victim in this case suffered bruises on their body and also thought she may have broken her hand. I've reached out to the person who sent us that video to try and figure out what happened before and what happened after. I'm still waiting to hear back from them. As for the two suspects in this case, they are wanted for first-degree assault and battery and second-degree assault and battery. In Indian Land, Daniel Pierce, Queen City News.
There you go. In Indian Land. So these
Where's
fast food
Indian
restaurants.
Land at? They didn't even say the state. I don't know.
It said Charlotte. I'm assuming that's the Carolinas.
North Carolina. Okay.
Yeah, it says Charlotte, Indian Land. So I'm sure that's the Carolinas. So now here it is. We got an employee at Chipotle who I'm sure didn't expect her day to go this way because somebody wanted some extra chicken and they said it was unreasonable for it to cost extra and not so eloquently as I put it. So what do we do? What do we do? We can't even go to work and be safe. Meanwhile, I'm tipping waiters. But go ahead. I'm gonna leave that on the table.
Yo, why people feel it's okay to act this way, I don't know, right? I can only go ahead and come to some type of hypothetical understanding of the situation. Could it be that you didn't have the correct upbringing? Because in society, it's generally understood that you can't put hands on each other, right? You know what the law is. But for those people to go ahead and feel that comfortable, what is it that makes you go the extra mile? It's a girl and you're a big 300-pound dude. Yo, bro, I ain't got no respect for you whatsoever. Like, I hope when you go to jail, like, I hope they violate you because you were no, I mean, I know, I'm sorry. My heart of hearts and my do the right thing mind would say, okay, nobody deserves injustice or anything like that. But dude, you put all of a swing, like you wound up, bow, and you hit the girl. She was a girl. Does it make it any better if it's a guy? No. But we all know that there is a stark difference between ladies' biology and man's biology, right? You can't even go ahead and defend yourself against something like that. She was on the ground, and at one point he lifted her up and you could see her back come off the ground. She was off the ground. She was getting tossed. Yo, bro, that is terrifying for somebody who is her. That's not fair. There is never going to be any justification for me as to why this big dude was going to put hands on this girl and she was never a threat. Even if she was a threat, dude, you're 300 pounds, right? Does she have a weapon in her hands or something like that? Whatever the case may be, What's the mitigating factor that's going to make you do this? And then it looked like his girl was in on this situation too, right? I think her name is Kayla Pyle, and his name was Jamal or something like that. And it's like, yo, what do y'all fat asses really want to eat that bad that it's really going to make you beat up on an employee? They're just coming here to serve you. She didn't make the rules about it being additional. She's just going ahead and doing her job. You're mad because it's additional. Do what everybody else does and write corporate. Don't beat somebody that has nothing to do with it. Now both of y'all going to serve jail time. Both of y'all going to serve y'all fat asses some jail time. And you're going to eat a bunch of stuff in there that ain't chicken. So help me understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, help me understand where did you go with this? Where did you thought there has to be an ends to a means? I understand that we're people and we are emotional creatures and we tap into who we are. But you didn't think this one through. Like, did you say, yeah, I'm gonna wind up and beat up this girl and then she gonna have to give me the chicken? Did you think she was gonna go back there with a closed eye and a swollen lip and then start going ahead and being like, yes, sir? You're mad, you're beating her up, and you both got arrested. Both of y'all can't run. What are y'all really doing? I don't know, man. None of that made sense, Cree. I don't know. None of that made sense.
It never makes sense, right? And these things are just escalating too quickly. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I said, I've been dealing with the public for 20 years. And I think today that things are just escalating way too quick. Like somebody could come in for something as simple as a return, and there's a certain process that takes place, and they instantly go from 0 to 100 for whatever reason, right? Let me get this comment out here. Gregory says, are they going to ask for extra slop in jail? Then how are they going to react? So I would like to see them jump on a security guard, right? They ask for extra slop in jail. I appreciate that comment, Gregory. But at the end of the day, people can't. Yeah. You can't just, I don't know what the root cause of it is, but we just know it's unacceptable, right? And you got to have some level of emotional intelligence, right? These are people who are highly emotional, and whatever they're mad about, they took it out on this young girl. It wasn't about the chicken and the fact that they might have been embarrassed because they didn't have the extra to do the chicken and they were hungry. I mean, it could be a multitude of reasons. The fact is, it's wrong. And there's no reason that it should have ever happened. So I'm not going to try to figure out the whole diagnosis of how we got to this point, but you're going to pay for your consequences. And this is a conversation that I had with multiple people. Now, if something crazy was to happen and some cops came in here and they shot these people for what they were doing, right? Let's say it escalated to this point. We would be outraged and try to make this whole racial thing. But these people weren't thinking about getting to that point when they was in there beating up on this young girl over some chicken. Right? So every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And that's something that I'm just not going to overlook. Like, come on, man, you in there, you're upset. Okay, walk away from it. You ain't got to spend your money there. Go somewhere else if you're that upset, if that little girl provoked it. Even at that point, you could walk away. But for you to just up and want to put hands on people, this is where you get out of pocket. And this is where we go wrong. And in this case, I feel bad for this young lady because she's just at work, 17 years old. I think is what they said. So she's still in high school, right? She's probably just working over winter break, getting a little extra money. Who knows what her situation is? She could be
part-time at work. She could be part-time working after school.
Yeah, regardless of what it is. I'm sure when she woke up and went to work on her shift, she wasn't expecting to get beat up about some extra chicken. She wasn't expecting that. And honestly, you don't deserve that because I want to say, you know what? I don't know this person, but she was probably doing the best she could on the job that day. It was probably a lot of happy patrons before you came in there acting a fool. And here you guys go taking it the extra mile.
I just thought of something else, especially with my fast food experiences. This thought that I have is not going to justify what happened in there either. but let's go ahead and ask this, right? Because when the camera started, I'm imagining people were shocked that what was happening, and that's when the camera came out. There's a lot that happened before.
We didn't see.
What if, just food for thought, what if she gave them a clean attitude? What if she degraded them? Your fat asses don't need no extra chicken anyway. You know what's crazy? I say that, right? And it's funny. But listen, hold up. Three. Let me listen. I say this, right? Because these are a lot of people can't even fathom people at a fast food restaurant saying things like that, right? But I've been to some fast food restaurants in the more urban environments, parentheses, the hood. And listen, all I'm saying is they are a little bit more spirited, parentheses, rude as hell. And the liberal nature of what they feel they could say to somebody is borderline combative, and they're at work. It throws people off, right? Like you're sitting there, you're going to go get your food, but now this person is talking to you in the most degrading way. And you're like, oh, hell no, right? Still, it doesn't justify what happened, but it will put an asterisk in the course of the events. Because at the same time, I feel customer service where I live is dead. And when your customer service is dead, man, and people start talking to you like they're on the street, you kind of feel like you're going to respond to them like they're on the street. Like, what's up? You want to smoke? I don't care if you're at work. You at work, you want to go ahead and talk to me this way. I'm gonna go deal with you how I would on the street. Just saying this food for thought, because we don't know that this happened or not. If this did happen in that type of way, I would say that on both ends, people need to go ahead and, have a come to Jesus moment. Like, yo, first and foremost, you can't talk to your customers like that. And number two, you definitely can't treat employees of a particular establishment wrong because you disagree with their policy. The employees don't even have the authority level to go ahead and make these judgment calls. Why are you going to go ahead and do that? But back to you three.
Yeah, I've definitely seen situations where the person behind the counter handles the situation wrong and it escalates. Now, lucky for me, I've never had a full-out brawl break out inside the store. Thank God. But, the threat is always there, especially if you get the right one, because there are people of a certain caliber who will come in and definitely tell you about yourself. I just had an incident like that at the store where her mouth was good, but there was a manager there that said, you know what, let's just remove you from this situation, which is what I would expect any manager to do, is to remove somebody from a situation so we can kind of prevent this. And I always go back to this, like, where was leadership inside of this building? How fast did this break out? Like, was there an indication, to your point, that this was going to escalate beyond words, right? Because we didn't see all of that stuff. The girl could have had what they call RBF, resting bitch face. And maybe that's the reason that it kind of escalated. But at all these things I'm naming right now, like you said, there's still no point for you to put your hands on anybody else, because now you give up your freedom. You're on the run. You're going to end up turning yourself in, or they're going to find you. And then you're going to end up on whatever they give you as a punishment. It's just not worth it to me for Chipotle. And to be honest with you, I'm going to get off the beaten path. I know people out here doing DoorDash and all this stuff who deliver food. Yo, some of these restaurants are nasty. Right? And you used to hear these stories about the people that worked in these restaurants. Now I'm hearing it from the people actually delivering food. let me tell you, y'all better stop putting so many people between you and your food, because you eating all that foolishness. These people out here nasty. I just heard about a restaurant who ain't using gloves, wiping their nose, rubbing their hair, and then making milkshakes for folk. Come on, man. Let me tell y'all something. And they want a tip to do that. So anyway, let me not get on that tip subject, because you know how I feel about that.
To ensure prompt service.
Some people, listen, there's people that deserve the tip. There's people that deserve the tip. Like, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I don't tip when I go out, because if y'all recognize me, I'm gonna tip you. Please take care of me. But also, if I go out to tip, I'm going to a restaurant that I know I'm gonna get that type of service. That's just what it boils down to. So with that being said, you want to see something else? I got something else for you.
I do, but Labor Lounge viewers, I need y'all to go ahead and take a look at 3. Let me find out my man got a whole beard right now. Y'all remember what happened before? No, this is crazy, dog! Yo! Look at my man's face, bro. Look at my man's face. My man got a beard now. You remember before he was hating? He don't hate no more. It's all love around here, bro.
It only took me 364 days to do it, but you know what? It takes time.
Hey, let's get a round of applause for 3's beard.
I'm done with you. Progress is a slow process, but yes, I can, man. It's coming in. It's coming in nicely. You know, a lot of why you think I'll be on the stream like this? I'm warming up my hair follicles. Like, keep on growing, baby. Keep on growing.
Yo, my face hurt me. All right, man. Let's see some more, man. Let's see some more, bro.
All right, we go keep it pushing. But check this out, man. I got to tell this story too. But you know, I'm gonna tell it after this next clip. I'm gonna tell it after this next clip, because this right here, this keeps people. We're gonna keep it on the subject of people putting their hands on people, and they're gonna mess around and find out. Watch this. Foolishness. Let me make sure I got the right setting here, because I want the stream to be good for all watchers. Gregory, I appreciate you. I'm gonna wash my hands, and I'm gonna tell everybody to wash their hands. I don't know what you mean. It just say, I don't know if you saying I got dirty hands or not.
Wait a minute, my guy.
I'm in the office, bro. Leave me alone.
Oh man.
Hey, Greg. All right, here we go. Let's pull this up here. Watch this foolishness.
A vicious slap out of nowhere left service.
I'm gonna run it back because I think we missed.
A vicious slap out of nowhere left Service Bar's owners and police looking for this man. Service Bar's owner says his staff found this man waiting outside a bathroom for someone, but not waiting in the line. A woman on the bar's staff asked the man to move because he was blocking a hallway. The man got argumentative and staff asked him to leave. Security got involved and eventually the man did leave. After leaving the bar, he passed the patio and saw the female employee who asked him to move and did this. The bar owner says it was so loud they thought he hit the post of the patio. They filed a police report and say they want this man tracked down and banned from the bar.
For why? Why did that lady deserve that? Because you are in the wrong place. You are the one that's wrong. You're blocking up stuff. She asked you to move. She's sitting down. She looked like she was off. She might have been out there trying to enjoy a cocktail before she went home. And you smack her? Well, people out of line. People is out of line.
First and foremost, did y'all see that still frame that they caught of this guy's face? Why this guy look like a Disney villain?
Wow.
Come on, man. Come on, man. The guy look like he's looking up with the...
Let me see.
Yo, run it back!
A vicious slap out of nowhere left Service Bar's owners and police looking for this man. Service Bar's owner says,
Right here. Look at this Disney villain. I told y'all ain't paying attention. Y'all ain't paying attention. I got you.
Which one?
Got you.
Which Disney villain is that? If I had to pick
I
one, that's the one
don't
from
know. Yo,
Beauty and
my
the
man,
Beast. What's his name?
Jafar. Yo, hit him with the whole black garb, and he's like, "Silence, Iago." Yo, I just feel like it's popping off. Look at this guy. He looks like he's up to no good. Something wrong with this guy. This is the type of guy that will walk down the hallway and slap somebody randomly. And he did. And he did. What else do y'all think? Yo, bro, he's guilty. If they put this up in the courtroom, he's guilty. It's over, okay? Cancel Christmas. Oh my God, I don't know what happened. It was a loud slap. Well, you know, it could have been anything. She could have said anything. Judge, put the picture up. Put the picture up.
Comments
oh,
got
no,
it
he's
right.
guilty.
The comments got it right. That's the villain from The Incredibles. They hit it on the head. It's the guy from The Incredibles.
Thank you.
What's his name?
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Because I know my man Greg is with me. Okay. Greg is with me. He's right here. I keep. All right.
Shout out to Greg.
Yo, I'm trying to tell you, if you put this face up in court, guilty. He's going to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. He's going straight to jail. It's a wrap. It's a Rizzy. It's a Reynolds rap. It's done. Done.
His name was his Syndrome. That was his name.
Look at Syndrome right here on our screen, bro. Made an appearance in real life.
Oh,
he made
man.
an appearance in real life, son. Real
We're
life.
gonna take Syndrome down. Syndrome out of there, man. That lady did not deserve to get slapped.
Yo, he papped the hell out of her. When I heard that's a movie theater slap, you know that, right? That's a movie theater slap. When they said that it was so loud that they thought he slapped the post, accurate. Accurate. Because he slapped her into shock. If it was like a light slap, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? No, he said, and she was like, my word. Like, yo, he was mad that he just got kicked out. And he was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna leave you with something on the way out. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing. Pop! Oh shoot, it's loud. Keep walking. You ain't gonna make it out of here, bro. You ain't gonna make it out of here, Syndrome.
It's terrible, bro. What we gonna do? You ever been attacked at the job? I said attacked, but has anybody ever bucked up enough where you thought they was gonna put hands on you? Attacked is kind of far-fetched.
Employees, right? Included?
Yeah. Why not?
Yes. Yo, 3, you know me in real life, man, and you know that aside from some of the theatrics that I go ahead and do on Labor Lounge, my primary objective is to de-escalate. You know, all of this stuff that I do here on Labor Lounge is fun. It's cool. It's ha ha he he. But it's not realistically how I would approach an engagement. And we have evidence of this. I'm always trying to de-escalate. And so for other people to go ahead and get mad at me to the point where they want to fight me, once you know yourself, you know what is going on with somebody else. Like, hey, I'm never the person to go ahead and antagonize people. I'm never the person to go ahead and try to get a miscommunication. If I see it going left, I'm going to go ahead and correct it and be like, hey, I didn't mean it that way. I'm easy to go ahead and apologize about a situation. I try to go ahead and get clarity, right? Especially when it comes to places where my money is involved. Mm-hmm. When my money is involved, I'm going to put extra effort about it. Some people don't care. I don't know how they do that. I don't know what support structure they have going on, but me, I'm a one-man band. So when I make my decisions, I definitely go ahead and think about them before I execute them to the best of my ability. So when these people go ahead and buck up at work at me, just to be proper, I analyze and be like, all right, yo, professor, what did you do? Could it have been anything that you did to set these people off? Could you have done anything? And once I exhaust that from my own thoughts, it doesn't mean that somebody else can't go ahead and bring up a reason that I could have done to go ahead and trigger somebody. It just means that I move on to the next part. And the next part is, okay, you got a problem. What is it that you got? Are you mad at me? Are you hating on me because you want to be where I'm at? This sounds like a narcissistic phrase, but I've learned over time that the people that I thought were never envious or jealous or, disappointed at me getting a position or having some type of advantage, they really were. There's really that threat of jealousy that exists amongst other people. So I usually try to analyze things. Now, we all know if things get to a certain point, Professor ain't no hoe.
Not a hoe.
I'm going for whatever. If you sleep me, you sleep me. I'll take it like a man. But it's never happened. It's never happened, and it's never happened for a reason. Not because I'm the best fighter out there, not because I'm invincible. It's because 9 times out of 10 in those situations, I was more than capable of handling what was going on. Not saying that if I wasn't capable of handling what was going on, that I wouldn't do the same thing, because at the same time, my mentality is you got to let people know that they can't go ahead and mess with you. I don't mean that you have to fight them to prove that point, but as the levels go ahead and increase and you can't go ahead and de-escalate, you got to let people know what it is. Because like anything else, if people go ahead and perceive you to be scary or perceive you to be a punk, whatever the case may be, they're going to keep digging at you. It's unfortunate. It's just the way of life, survival of the fittest. Go ahead, take over, 3.
In my experience, I've never had a situation like that, employee or customer. And I think the reason for that is my size is a deterrent, right? When you stand in front of me, I'm not your average person. Like, I'm a big dude, right? And it's probably gotten worse in the latter years of my life now that I look like I'm in shape a little bit, right? So
I can see that.
I've never had really anybody buck up to the point to where it was going to come to fisticuff. It might be some words exchanged, but nothing to that point. When I've witnessed this in my career, it's always been on somebody who was smaller in stature, right? Somebody who looked like they really weren't going to do anything back. And unfortunately, I did have an employee one time get punched in the face. And I'm going to tell you, the one part about that is that from a company standpoint, we're not to do anything unless the employee wants something to be done, right? So if the employee feels threatened, it's his responsibility to call the police, open that report, this, that, and the next. It's not on the company. That's the way it's kind of like they kind of stay away from it, right? And I remember having a conversation with the employee saying, hey, look, you want to do this? This is what you need to do, X, Y, Z. And his response to me was like, no, I'm not going to do that. He goes, because if I do that and nothing really happens to him, he knows where I work at. And I was like, damn, that's
true.
I was like, damn, that's a really good threat. So he didn't even want to do anything further on that point. Now, at this point, I was working down in Miami, so you already know what's capable to happen down there. So, if you really think about like what that person was going through and what his thought process was, like he instantly thought like, this man know where y'all work at, and he got to come to work. He got to live, right? So it's unfortunate when these people are out here
Pause break. Yo, out of nowhere, my guy.
It be the comments, but no, his thought process I think was real valid when he didn't want anybody to know where he worked and come back in the closet.
Yo, Greg, for real, bro. For real, Greg.
All right. I'm that one earns the right to be up here. Hey, I'm gonna take it as a compliment. Because Kimbo Slice had a
beat
beard.
hard like Kimbo Slice.
But yeah, man, it's a real threat, and it sucks, man, because you got to go to work, and when you work with the public, that threat it's there, right? And hopefully, people just act right and they don't do those things. But I remember that situation very vividly. Another situation I had at work, it was during a hurricane, and you know, customers get rowdy during hurricane times working in home improvement hardware. I never forget. We were coming down to the last little bit of plywood. You got a line wrapped around the building. I mean, literally wrapped around the building. Oh, they shouldn't get so many pieces of plywood. It's like we can't tell them how many pieces of plywood. Now, we did have a limit. I think we were doing like 3 or 5. I don't remember the number. But you can't tell somebody they can't get whatever the limit we're allowing people to get. But they're mad because they're counting and they see that it's running out. So they start getting rowdy. So when they called me down there, I get there and I kind of get the crowd to back up a little bit, but they're coming. They're still rah, 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 rah. So I throw my hands up and I say, listen, if y'all continue to act this way, nobody else is getting plywood. My employees go take it home, right? Got my chest swollen up. No bull crap. This what I saw. That's what I saw in the background.
Oh shoot! Oh man!
You're
gonna be on TikTok.
I went like this. Hey, Professor, I said like this. I saw that thing up there like this. I said, look, I said, give away the last couple pieces of plywood. I got the hell up out of there. You're not putting me on Channel 7. I'm good.
Late breaking news. 3 was at his job. All of a sudden, there was a commotion, a cacophony that went ahead and erupted. He went ahead and put his chest out. A camera came on. It was a wrap. That's back to you, Stacy.
Let me get the hell up out of here. You're not putting me. And TikTok wasn't even a thing back then. It would have been like Facebook or maybe Instagram. But nah, you wasn't gonna catch me like that.
In those situations, man, you're justified. You ever seen the situations where people do things that are out of character, but they did it because it was a level response to that moment?
It's the right reason, but here's the problem I have, and I'm actually going to talk about this on the next video I bring up. It's the way that they frame it, right? So it would have been justified because I was there and the people that were in front of me was there, my employees were there. But if it gets on Facebook or social media or the news, they don't frame it with all the context. You see somebody going crazy, not even going crazy. You see somebody reacting in a way that can be perceived as out of pocket.
In that situation, you would have been justified. And let me tell you why. Because when you started, you said, if y'all, that's putting onus on the actual crowd that's pushing forward. If y'all keep acting like this, then this is going to happen. So anybody who sees a clip of that video is going to know that you were dealing with something that people weren't acting accordingly. In those situations, I think your video, hypothetically, if it had occurred and, you know, you didn't move from there, your video would have been one of those where they're like, applaud that man, because you did something out of character to go ahead and keep the order. Yeah. Those situations there, they are praised. But
you would
the thing in your situation though, like your standpoint, you don't know that. So with you not knowing that, you did the safest thing. I'm not mad at you for your decision. Your decision was accurate because it's like,
yeah,
I'm out of this.
It definitely. Hey, listen, that camera keeps you at bay.
You know what?
What
And I think, listen, the cell phone camera is the most revolutionizing device of the decade. If not more. The camera on a phone has changed everything, because what once were moments that people were like not too sure that they even occurred are definitive now. Now we got people trying to go ahead and be like, well, what happened before? Because they know what happened right there on the video is damning. You know, when something is damning, you're like, okay, let's analyze all of this because this doesn't look good, right? So back to that, man, I'm gonna say, the cell phone is the most revolutionary device in the last 20 years. Or cell phone camera, cell phone camera. And it's come a long way, because on the Nokia, I couldn't take a picture of me and a shorty for my life. Nokia was looking all fuzzy and stuff. Now we got things in HD. We can record in 4K. It has put things in a light, in a perspective that haven't gotten shown in that particular way. I'm gonna let you cook, 3. Go ahead, do you?
No, that's the perfect segue into the next video, talking about how a cell phone keeps you at bay. So this next story actually happened down here in sunny South Florida too. And honestly, I got the news report that we're going to look at. Now, there is a longer video. I do have that video, but it's 8 minutes long, and I'm not going to sit here and go through an 8-minute long video. The news report, it breaks it down to about a 2-minute clip. But there's a lot of context that I think it leaves out based off the full video that was put out. So we'll talk about that. But let's look at how the news report frame it. And then this is going to go back to what I was saying about, even though it appears that I was doing the right thing, it's how it's framed makes it sound a lot worse. Here we go.
A postal worker accused of attacking a customer who said that worker was really rude. That customer wanted to see a manager, and that's when things got physical. Local 10's Roy Ramos is live in Miami with the latest.
Well, Janice, that customer says that he saw an elderly woman being mistreated by a postal worker, so he asked to speak to a manager. Well, that employee never called the manager, but things did turn very heated, and then that employee is seen attacking that customer on video.
Why couldn't you do that before with that lady?
A slap from a U.S. postal worker made toward customer Miguel Bravo, and all captured on his cell phone video.
The woman hit me with such a force.
Bravo said the assault happened at the U.S. Post Office off Northwest 27th Avenue near 4th Street after he started recording video when he noticed an elderly woman allegedly being mistreated and what he described as discriminated against because she didn't speak English.
Your treatment of these people is discriminatory. So we're going to... No, you're discriminating them.
All the time.
The woman says certified. Certified. She wants to sign certified mail. And the postal worker said, no, English. Say it to me in English.
The woman you're looking at is 39-year-old Chantel Ford. In the video, you can hear Bravo requesting Ford call a manager, but while she appears to disregard his request and continue to attend to other customers, Bravo waits for close to 10 minutes for someone to be called while continuing to record.
I don't care what you do, sir. I don't give a
Okay.
No, take that to the news. I don't care.
Bravo did to Local 10 News. As for Ford, she was arrested after Bravo said not only did she take his phone, but then tried to destroy it.
Then she ran into the back where I chased them. And they were trying to break my phone because of the video that was in it.
Bravo's message to the postal worker who he said attacked him and left him injured rather than just call her supervisor?
I'll see you in court.
Remember what I said about fast food employees and how they go ahead and act, man? It's exactly like that. And you know one thing I'm going to say, man, and I hate to say this, The only time I've ever received this type of experience is from people that look like me. And that breaks my heart, yo. Like, why? Like, if me and you look like we could be siblings, why do you treat me in a disparaging way and then treat white people in a way where, yes, sir, no, sir, okay, you give them the customer service, but you give me the BS? And it's almost like you falling into the trap of the devaluing of the Black community. But in this situation, this was, to me, what it looked like with her. I think she got something against Hispanic people. I'm just going to say it, you know, because the response that she gave was, English. I've never been in a situation where I've been working at a job and I ever felt comfortable to belittle somebody that didn't speak the language. Even when I've serviced them, I'm like, hey there, ma'am, or man, sir, I'm sorry. I don't understand what it is that you're saying. Let me see if I can get an interpreter. Un momento, por favor. And I do the best that I can to go ahead and wait for a second. Let me get an interpreter, right? But this lady over here, there's two factors that kind of bother me. One, or what I've not bothered me, but what I think could be the possible reason as to this. One is she doesn't like Hispanic people. Two, post office employees feel very, very comfortable. Because as the law goes ahead and has it, if you were to go ahead and put hands on a post office employee, you're automatically serving 25 years just for putting hands on them, right? And I think that law is a crappy law because the law doesn't fix the real problem. Why did you have to put a law in place? Well, people said that they were going ahead and getting mad at people that were inside of the post office. So instead of going ahead and trying to find the root cause, you said, you guys aren't going to put hands on our employees, which is a good attitude to have in general, right? You're not going to put hands on our employees. Then you said, we're going to make it a law that you automatically go ahead and give up a quarter of your life if you do anything to them. I think that law didn't fix the real problem. I think there could have been an issue with people's frustrations. Why were people frustrated? Nobody cared to find out why people were frustrated. So now you got employees of the postal office that feel like they're untouchable. Nothing will happen to them. What you going to do? Touch me. Give up 25 years of your life. I dare you.
Nah.
You gotta, you know, when you think about it that way, it's like, oh shoot, they've taken it to the next degree. Because now when people are not going ahead and putting hands on you and you're being protected, if the camera's not there, you can basically say whatever to anybody. Because what you going to do about it? That's not a good place. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. These things are a combined issue. I've been frustrated at a post office. I've went ahead and tried to escalate something to the Postmaster General. You know what real kind of resolution I got? Nothing. The process at the post office is there to go ahead and deter you from even getting anything done. So if you can't get anything done about your regular mail situations, what do you think you're going to get done about an employee that's rude or disgruntled to you? Your process requires that it's via email. You have nobody you can call to. You can't reach out and speak to the Postmaster General. So you got to email them. Then they got to email you and then tell you when they're going to go ahead and possibly call you. And you're supposed to be available, whether you're working or not. And if you miss that call, you got to wait an additional like 20 days before you could get it. That's predatory. They do these practices over there to avoid. No, but you got to think about it, because if you do these practices, you don't want a real resolution, right? You're hoping that people will be tired of the process and stop, because it requires you to go check your email. It requires you to be available when at any moment's time. They're going to call you when they know you're busy, like 1:34 in the afternoon at work, bro. What? Yo, that's not fair. You know what it is. They do this on purpose, right? So I'm not going to say that everything is a direct correlation. This is my pure opinion about this lady over there. I think she had a problem with Hispanic people. That's why she was like, no, English. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, a company is going to want the money, right? And they're not going to like that. But go ahead, bro.
So I'm going to go ahead and get into my, what they call an epitaph. I'm going to get into it. And this is actually pretty good because what I say earlier about how the news frames things, right? I told you when we started that there was an 8-minute long video of this situation, and I didn't want to go through the whole 8-minute video because we're going to go through the news report because they summarized. You said a couple of things. You said, one, you think she got a problem with Spanish people. Can't confirm nor deny. It's just a feeling based off the information you received.
From that short clip.
Yes, based off the information you received. I don't know if she said what he said she said, because in this 8-minute video, I witnessed her sit quiet for 6 minutes, not saying anything, while this gentleman held the phone right here talking per D shit in this lady's face, right? The part that you saw about I don't give a damn might have been 4 minutes into the original video.
I don't give a fuck.
That's what she said. I tried to keep it PG-13. The hit came at the 7 to 8 minute mark in the video at the end, right? So she endured this gentleman with the camera in her face talking junk for 6 to 7 minutes before she retaliated and hit him. Now, she's wrong.
Automatic.
Yeah. One, you don't say you don't give a damn to a camera that's in your face. You showed me your whole face.
You're crazy.
Number two, you hit the guy in the hand at the end of the video and slapped the phone out of his hand. You're disqualified. There's no way that I can help you in this situation.
Yo,
but I did see you put up with this gentleman for 6 minutes talking junk. Now, another thing I didn't see is her going to get her manager. I don't know if she ever went to get the manager, which is another thing. If you didn't do that, this also put you at a disadvantage because you could have been taken.
You do know because he never appeared.
Well, yes, the manager never appeared, but in the video, the longer version of the video, right? She said, I told my manager already, just step to the side, they'll be out momentarily. She said that. She said that. Okay. But you never see her physically go to get the manager. So I don't know if she was just saying that to move him along, or she really did step away at some point to tell somebody what was happening, because there were other people in this office around her that weren't management. They were just workers. So again, I don't know if she spoke to the first customer where she was like, no, speak to me in English. That could have happened, right? And then this customer took it upon himself to say, no, you're not going to treat people like that. And he tried to defend the lady, pull out a phone, so on and so be it. But for 6 minutes, he was talking junk.
What was he saying? Because, you know, here's the thing.
You want to act like that now? Why didn't you treat the other customer that way? Oh, did you go get your manager? She said, sir, could you step to the side? I told my manager they'll be out momentarily. No, I'm going to stand right here. But there's other people in line. So it was just a lot of back and forth. Okay.
That sounds like he was trying to support somebody. That's what it sounds like. But then again, I haven't seen this video.
No. And that's why I said you're at a disadvantage. You're at a disadvantage because you saw the 2-minute clip. I saw the 8-minute clip. And even with me seeing the 8-minute clip, I'm not saying that I'm right. What I'm saying is I got a little bit more to go off of. I don't know if she has a problem with Spanish people. I know that there's an employee with the customer standing there and the camera in her face, and he's talking junk, and she stayed quiet for 6 minutes.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think, I'm just saying this in a regular, regular, do you think that a person would pull out a camera and say that if she didn't disrespect the Hispanic lady? Like, because my thought process is he's been, you know how I analyze a lot of things? Consistency, right? People who tell the truth are consistent in what they say. It doesn't waver because it is accurate representation and portrayal of what's going on. It doesn't waver. Some people who go ahead and they try to fabricate situations, they kind of put sauce on things. So it'll start this way, and then when it goes here, there's another different twist over here. And then when it goes over here, it's another, it may not even be here. Oh, yeah. But and it becomes weird. Those are not necessarily all the way wrong, people. Those are questionable situations. This guy seems, I don't know, because I don't know why, but 3 only let me see 2 minutes of the situation, right? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like now off of the 2 minutes, I got to make this assessment. Mm-hmm. If I had to put money on it, the dude seemed pretty consistent. And 1, he has the footage. 2, he got slapped. 3, he's with the news. Like, he's doing everything going according to plan. The other rest of the 6 minutes that we didn't get, there could potentially be some critical information on that. I don't know. If you have an issue with me not knowing, please go ahead and reach out to 3@laborlounge.com or laborlounge@gmail.com, attention 3. Okay. And ask him why he didn't go ahead and let us see the critical elements of things. But for what we know right now, I'm going to stand on it.
Okay, that's cool. 3. And like I say, we just having a conversation. and matter of fact, if you give me a moment, I could try to find it. It's not really that important because at the end of the day, she put hands on somebody. You lose. You're disqualified.
That part.
I can sit up here. Yeah. My dialogue about this is this. When you work with the general public, and that's the whole purpose of this show, sometimes it gets hard, bro. It gets hard because you're dealing with people, multiple personalities. You ever think about it? There's people right now in your life that you cannot stand. You can't stand them, but you have a choice not to be around that person. When you're at work behind that counter, you don't have a choice. And you know the custom. No, you do. You always have a choice. I'm sorry, 3. I love you, bro. You always have a choice, okay? You always have a choice. I know you want to keep your job, but there's a choice for you not to keep it and walk the hell away, right? There's a choice for you to go in the back. There's a choice for you to go ahead and say, 1 moment, hey, can you take care of this customer because I don't know what's going on right now, and they got something with me. I'm gonna just go over there. You have a choice, okay? Tap into your freedom, people. I know it feels like. Can I finish my dialogue, bro? You just cut me off, and you finna go ahead and start. Like,
my bad.
Like,
I love Labor Lounge, man. The viewers, I'm sorry. I was passionate. I'm sorry. I love 3 too, bro. But you have a choice. Go ahead, 3.
Bro, my man. So when you're at work, you have no choice. You have to deal with that customer. Now, when you're there, there's things that you just can't do because I can't defend you against them. To your point, yes, you could try to tap off. Hey, could you take care of so-and-so, man? They own something today. Hey, can you get a manager? Yes. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to come back when it's a regular customer. They'll be back. And it'll be a situation where you might have to deal with them. You can't avoid a customer every day. Now, if you're having a day where you're just not on your game and you just can't handle it today, that's one thing, right? But what happens when the unmovable, what they say, the unstoppable force hits an immovable object? Eventually they meet, and then that's when the blow up happens, right? Because you have to find a way to mitigate that damage. Sometimes you got to just swallow and get through it, bro. Because if you don't, you have situations to where you swing on somebody. Now, look, do I sit here and look at this video and in my heart, I can't say that I believe this man's hand is sprained, but it might be. It may be. But man, it just didn't look like it was that hard. But that's just me. I'm not the one that got hit, so I can't say nothing. But here's the thing: you swung on this man, you hit him, and now he's saying it's sprung. Prove him wrong.
Yo,
you got no eggs in your basket.
She hit him hard enough, and the camera angles went.
Yo,
once it went like this, oh man, it's a wrap for you, bro.
Yo,
You
it's
made
a
it do
camera in his
somersault?
hand. She might have hit his hand and the camera fell and it did a little flip. It could have been anything. Listen, at the end of the day, what I'm getting at is this: you made this bigger than what it needed to be because you swung. Listen, if you would have just walked away from the counter, you would have been safer than what you did, because you might have had something else going on in the day and you reacted the way you did. And it's unfortunate because I don't want you to lose your job. And one thing I will say, thank you to the post office for not talking to the news, telling what's happening with this lady. They said, we don't talk about what we do with employee relations. I love that. That's great. But yet and still, I saw this lady swing on this man. And now he has a case, and you heard what he said. I'll see you in court. So you asked another question where you said, do I think there's customers who would do this and not be kind of consistent? That's what you said, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know if that was really a question more than a statement.
More than a statement, okay.
Yeah, it was more of how I felt about situations. The reason why.
So they're pretty consistent in their actions, is what you're saying. So
yeah,
here's the thing. In my anecdotal experience, and this is what I like to talk about, bro.
I hate your anecdotal experience. But go ahead.
Florida, they will put a lawsuit on you, man. They will put a lawsuit on you.
This is
and it could be something that's not valid, but now I have to prove that it didn't happen.
Yes.
Right? And a lot of the times the companies, if you cannot put yourself in a position to say that I did everything that I was supposed to do and you react like this young lady react, I don't give a damn. Throw a slap out there. You lose every time and that customer is going to get paid. Period. And you're out of a job, more than likely. So you know, it's tough, man, and I understand what some of these people go through.
Can I say this?
Mm-hmm.
What if, and this is now a question, what if it really did happen that she said, no, English to the previous individual? Now this guy is stuck on her like flies on crap, right? What if she knew that because this guy was on her like this and wasn't going to go anywhere, that she already knew she was done, and she said, man, let me just get my lick in? Because if you look, let me tell you this, man. One thing that was kind of stuck out to me, man, and there was this show. I'm a sidebar real quick. There was a show that I used to watch. It was called Lie to Me. Have you ever heard about that, 3?
Yeah, but I never watched it, though.
Yo, let me tell you something. So the gist of that show was the guy worked in law enforcement, and he would go ahead and ask people questions and wait for them to answer. Okay? Because the thing about it was he was an excellent reader of facial expressions. To me, that show was super dope. And then all of a sudden, I wanted to try to read people's facial expressions, right? Look at her facial expression before she hit Buddy. She was done. Before she hit him, and this is something, shout out to the show, Lie to Me. It taught me to go ahead and analyze people's faces and give them a freeze frame before the action happens. Before she hit him, she said like this. She looked around. She pretended like she was going in a drawer, like she was kind of fidgeting. And then she said, like that, like this. She bit her lip and clenched it. Like that. You see what I'm saying? You know what that look like. When you ready to go ahead and go off on somebody. That look gives me the impression, I'm not saying it's true, but it gives me the impression you're finished. You knew you were done. You're like, this moment is not salvageable at this point. This guy's been on me the entire time. He's going to complain. The old lady's going to corroborate. This situation's over. Man, I'm going to slap the hell out of you.
Man, but we don't even know. We don't even know if the old lady was still there at that point. At that point, I think he was just being like a superhero Samaritan.
I would have to imagine.
Yeah, see, and this is what I'm saying. We're trying to fill the hole.
I get that. I get that. I'm just telling you, and keep in mind, Professor is very clear with the words that he uses, right? I would have to imagine that this dude pulled out the cell phone as soon as that situation had occurred, and it processed in his mind like, oh no, she's not going to get away with this. I don't think the cell phone came out any later than 15 seconds after the situation happened.
If it did, he didn't catch the moment. He didn't catch
the moment. He didn't expect it to happen. So
no, that's what I'm saying. He didn't catch that moment. So all we saw was him saying why he pulled his phone out and get me your supervisor because you're not going to treat people this way. And we got her reacting to the phone being in her face. That's all we have. So what we are doing right now is we're trying to plug holes. We got a little snippet of something. And we trying to plug holes.
I'll tell you what. The way she reacted
is wrong.
Is not only wrong, but it brings curiosity of guilt. I'm not going to say it's accurate. It brings curiosity of guilt, and it leans in that fashion because of the things that were happening. Why wasn't your supervisor there? You should have stopped and went to go get a supervisor there. It's not my supervisor's going to come and you move to the side. Why wasn't you clean saw things were escalating to a point for 3 to 6 minutes prior of this whole situation. You took it in your own hands. I kind of feel she didn't want to bring the supervisor because it was something that was going to look damning, especially if potentially the old lady could have still been there, you know, from the other dude, because I'm pretty sure he probably said stuff in Spanish to the old lady like, yo, don't worry about it. I'll go ahead and get you taken care of. Don't worry. Because if the lady couldn't speak English and he's there and he's pulling a camera out somewhere, somehow, I know what I would have done for my people that are Haitian. If I saw a Haitian person there struggling, I would have broke out and be like, okay, qui ça ou vle m'di? Okay, pas de problème. Kote ou vle voyel? Okay, not for
I don't know what you just said.
Yo, but you know what? You're not supposed to. You're supposed to understand that I am translating for my people, right? And that's what I would have done. And this is the thought process. Don't know for sure. This is the thought process of somebody who goes that distance. He's consistent in that path of going that distance. Doesn't mean it's a guarantee, but when we look at everything else that we have to go off of, who knows if this lady could have had a track record, right? Maybe she didn't want to call the manager because she's on her last write-up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It could have been anything. But at the end of the day, a manager was requested and you didn't produce him. And instead of producing him, you looked into the camera and you opened up your big, beautiful black eyes and you said, I don't give a. You're not gonna win on that one. Yeah, and then slap them afterwards, yo. You got up, you checked the drawer. What'd you check the drawer for?
That was just to get close enough. That was to get close enough.
Okay, so then you know what it is. Then 3. What are we really doing here? You know what it is.
No, I told you we just having a conversation. Listen, I don't know all the details either. Listen, I just want this to be known like this, and we're gonna close this out.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard out here for a pimp working in retail, working with the public, working in a restaurant, working at the post office.
Bro.
Listen, working at the post office, working at Chipotle, working at Cheddar's, wherever you work, and you got to deal with the person that comes in that you don't know, but you got to provide the A1 service. It's hard, and it can be hard. Listen, I respect what you do, but one thing I got to say is you have to keep your composure. Get yourself out of situations. Use your manager. That's what they are there for. Get them out the office because they're back there talking to their work crush. Get them on the floor and have them deal with those situations so you don't have to. Listen to me, man. If you are working in one of these jobs where you have to deal with the public, I understand it's hard. I got your back. But with that being said, let me throw a message to my customers, to the patrons of the people that go to these places. Respect your service workers, your waiters, your cashiers, your stock people, all of them, your baristas, all of you Starbuckers, right? Respect them. Because I tell you what, just like you could have a bad day, they could have a bad day. And a lot of times they probably make considerably less than you do, but that's not all the time. It's just most of the time, but there's a lot of things to be stressed about. So with all that being said, I'm done with all of my monologues for the day. Professor, do you have something for the people?
Brother, I think I've said enough, and I think the people are tired of me. They love me, but they tired of me, bro. And
all right. Listen, respect your service workers. And service workers, respect your customers, because without them, you wouldn't have a job.
No, hold up.
And
hold up.
I just was getting ready to end. Dog, do you see?
No, I know. I ain't.
Man, it's like my ex-girlfriend. Always got to have the last word.
Shit. What? Are you? You want to fight? No, I don't want the last word. I just want. Yo, listen. My last thing. I'm sorry. I didn't think of this to the last moment. I apologize. Y'all people know I love 3 like a Cadillac way back on 4 flats. But my last word is keep your hands to yourself.
And thank you for tuning in to the Labor Lounge, where we talk about current events and some more-ish. I appreciate everybody for tuning in into the channel. We will be back next week. And you have my utmost commitment to become more consistent every week with a live show and clips dropping throughout the week. With that being said, everybody, I appreciate you for watching, and we'll see y'all again next week.